Good morning, everybody. My name is Kennedy, and if you're watching this video, then you're probably wondering how to get on a PR list and the first step to doing that. My Instagram is currently at 25,000 followers. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years now, but the first time I ever received a PR package, I only had 600 followers. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you, exactly how I did it. And by the end of this video, you are also going to be able to reach out to brands regardless of how many followers you have. Before you even begin to reach out for PR, you need to know what it is. So what is PR? PR actually stands for public relations, and it's become kind of a slang term in the influencer or content creator space. For the purpose of today's video, when I say PR, I'm referring to when a brand or an agency sends you free product with or without any obligation to post. This could range from beauty, fashion, food, fitness. It really just depends on what your content is centered around. Despite what people say, you actually do not need to have a huge following in order to receive PR. For some reason, everyone assumes you need tens and thousands of followers in order to receive PR, and that's just not true. The first time I ever received PR from a brand, I had 600 followers, and I had no idea what I was doing at all. Brands have definitely shifted their marketing in the past 2 years, and this is only going to increase in 2025. They want to work with smaller creators as opposed to large ones, and as I say this, I'm talking fairly big brands. The reason being is that they are not going to have to pay a creator that has 1,000 followers the same as they'd pay a creator that has 100,000 followers. Not only that, but smaller creators typically have a higher and better, more connected engagement rate than the bigger creators, and that matters. And now you may be thinking, what is an engagement rate? An engagement rate is a formula that measures the amount of interaction your social media channels are getting. So think likes, comments, shares, and any other engagement that your social media would receive. You can check your engagement rate a few different ways. I personally just use Social Blade. It's super simple, easy to type it into your browser, and it's free. When you're first starting out, the last thing you want to do is burn yourself out. If you can only post 3 times per week, then that is a great place to start. Check your analytics, see what best times and dates work for you, then try to post 3 stories a week on opposite days. That way you're constantly engaging with your audience and your community, and you're showing up for them. So your content schedule can look something like this. I also recommend starting with one platform before moving to multiple. That way you can be comfortable with posting first before branching out. So if you want to start receiving PR, now is the perfect time to do so. And I don't think that you should let a small following deter you from doing so. I see people get really discouraged about only having a few hundred followers, but and while I do understand that, this is the way that I look at it. Let's say that only 50 people liked your photo. In the digital space, you're like, oh, that's not really a lot of people. That's not really a lot of likes. Imagine if 50 people came to your house. That's a lot of people showing interest in you. I know that it's really easy to get discouraged, and comparison is definitely the thief of joy, especially in social. It's all a process, and you should appreciate every single moment of it. Now we have to make sure that your Instagram is actually up to par. Do you post frequently, or do you just post once a week? You need to make sure that you are active on social media, frequently posting videos, carousels, stories, everything. You also need to make sure that you're engaging with your audience as well. Are you going on their platforms and liking and commenting on their content? If not, you may want to re-strategize your thinking. Social media requires you to actually be social, and it's not a one-way thing. You can't expect a bunch of engagement if you're not giving anyone engagement. What are you actually posting on your Instagram? Something I see a lot of people overlook is the content itself. People become so hyper-focused on the amount of followers they want and how they want, tons of brand deals and tons of PR that they overlook the most important part, the content. What are you creating? If you're only posting selfies, brands probably aren't going to send you PR. In addition to that, if you're only taking photos in blurry or dim lighting, probably also aren't going to send you PR. And I understand that can be discouraging, and I completely understand that can be hard to hear, but I'm just being really transparent and really honest with you guys as someone that works brand side as well as content creation. It probably takes us 2 to 3 seconds to go through someone's platform and tell if they're a good creator or not. At the end of the day, it's really not personal, it's just a business perspective. Why would I take the time to go back and forth with a content creator that clearly isn't up to par yet, when there's 20 people behind her that have also emailed me that day that create beautiful content? It's all just a learning process. It's all just a learning curve. With that, natural light will be your best friend, and it is free. As someone who owns very, very expensive lighting, trust me when I say natural light is still my favorite way to take photos and videos. I'm currently sitting in front of a giant window, and that is my natural light source. There is a window door behind me, and that's my background light. It's significantly quicker than setting up all my lights, and I think that it just looks better. Your content creation does not need to be expensive. I still use my phone a lot, like all of the time, to create content. I have very, very expensive cameras. I have DSLR cameras, I have mirrorless cameras, I have that DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I love. I have a Fujifilm. I have so many cameras, it's ridiculous. And I still actively use my phone constantly. I think this is the iPhone 14 because it's just good. Most people have a phone. and most people have access to a window with natural light coming in, please, those two things will be your absolute best friend when it comes to creating proper content. If you're unsure whether you are a quote unquote good content creator or not, which now that I'm kind of saying it, I don't really love that verbiage, more of a beginner content creator, here's what you're gonna do. Go to your favorite platforms page. For example, let's just say Supergoop, because I have a current brand deal with them. I pull up Supergoop on Instagram, right? I'm going through their platform, looking at all of their photos. Can I honestly see my photo fitting onto their feed authentically? Like, can I see Supergoop posting this piece of content? Does it fit within their brand style? And I want you to think really critical here, because if it doesn't, if you can't see your photo or your video fitting into their Instagram feed at all, that means that it's off brand, and one, you shouldn't be working with them, or two, you still aren't there when it comes to properly creating content. The reason that you're going to be critical here is because I don't want any of you to like live in this Delulu land of, oh, I have great content, I have great content. You probably don't. And that is a good thing though, because if you don't have really, really good content for when you start out, that means you're normal. Most people don't. I look back at my content and I think, wow, that was so creative of you. But why are you taking pictures of a plate with skincare on it? Like, what is this? What is happening here? And it is really fun to look back and see how far you've come. So I recommend saving all of those photos, because in a few years you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, like look at how far I've come with my content creation journey. But in the beginning, you should be critical of yourself. And I know that's probably not what you guys want to hear, but I'm really not going to hold your hand, because holding your hand's not going to get you PR, and it's not going to get you brand deals. Additionally, within that, you need to know what type of content you want to create. For example, I have a beauty account, so the majority of my content is going to be within the beauty space. I have started branching out into other areas and other fields, but my main anchor will always be beauty. I don't think that you need to necessarily niche down. I think it's a lot easier when you start, but if you don't want to niche down, you pick one main anchor, right? Mine is beauty. And then you can sprinkle in 2 or 3 more topics that you can frequently talk about. This way you can consistently talk about things that you enjoy without burning out on one subject. When it comes to actually reaching out to PR, this is really important, because since my anchor is beauty, I'm not reaching out to a fishing company. It doesn't make sense. Nor does it feel on brand for me or my audience. I know how exciting it is to get free stuff from a brand, but like, make sure that you're not just reaching out for random free stuff. It should feel authentic to the content that you're creating. Some other quick tips to show a brand that you're interested in them would include the following. You'd be surprised how many people reach out to a brand and are not following them. Engaging with their content. From someone who has worked brand side, I promise you that we do check and keep track of that. Or if you've already used their products, post about them and tag them in it. This way, when you do reach out, the brand can go to your account and see what you truly do love their products. Now that you know what PR is and that you can essentially have any size following in order to receive PR, how exactly do you go about it? There are 3 main ways to receive PR. Number 1, apps. Influencer, Octly, which I believe is now Skeepers, and JoinPalm are the top 3 that I used when I first started out. Each app has its own benefits and downsides, but I do think when you're first starting out, building up PR to be able to create content is super, super important, and those are the 3 apps that tremendously helped me. The second is PR agencies. I actually really loved working with PR agencies. I think it just makes the whole process very seamless. These are a little bit trickier to navigate, and to be fully transparent with you, PR agencies have reached out to me, but I've never reached out to a PR agency. Essentially, when you work with an agency, they're kind of the middleman between you and the brand. So let's say I want to work with this agency on a paid collab. They'll find the brand for me. Or if they're reaching out to me saying, hey, this brand really loves your account, this is the PR they have, we'd love to send it to you. Sometimes they're paid, sometimes they're not. I do like working with agencies because once you do a collab or, get sent PR, they typically have multiple other clients and they'll include you on those lists. So you do branch out very quickly within these agencies. I personally don't like not having a direct connection with the brand itself. And since you aren't the one directly working with them, that is kind of removed and lost, and that's not my favorite. Which leads me to the next way that you can get PR. Reaching out to brands directly, aka cold pitching. If you know how to pitch and what to say, I highly recommend this over anything else. Establishing a brand connection is so incredibly important in this industry, and it's something that you should just hold near and dear to your heart, truly. So how are we reaching out? Everyone and their mother says reach out via email. I highly, highly disagree with this, and I always recommend reaching out via DM. Here's why. The last thing that you're going to want to do is reach out to the generic community or generic PR email that a brand has. I've made this mistake before, and I've also seen this mistake when I worked for a skincare brand. The last thing that you want is for your pitch to get stuck between a email asking about how much a serum cost and someone that's missing their package. You want to make sure that you have the right contact or you're just wasting everyone's time, which is why you want to reach out via DM to make sure that you have the appropriate contact every single time. So now you know how to reach out, but what are you saying? Are we just going to be talking word vomit, or are we actually going to say something impactful? Hi, my name is whatever your name is, and I love your brand. I know I'm a small creator, but I would love to receive PR from you to post to my social channels. Signed, whatever your name is. Please don't ever reach out to a brand like that, ever. It's not professional, it doesn't tell the brand anything about you, and you're giving them reasons not to send you PR. You knock yourself down a peg simply by saying, I know I'm just a small creator, but the size of your following does not matter. What matters is the quality content that you are able to create, and that is what you should be showcasing. Don't highlight your weaknesses, highlight your strengths. You didn't provide any type of services or what you do in that pitch at all. Why should they work with you? Why should they send you PR? You brought nothing to the table, girl. If you're good at video content, say that. If you're good at thorough reviews, say that. If you're a great photographer or you're really, really good at Photoshop, say that. Or if you're not good at all these things, work on it and then say that. If you have really creative concepts for campaigns, mention that to them. All of these things are so important when it comes to pitching to brands. Now here's what you should do. First, link your social media. I promise you, a brand is not going to take the time to look you up when you're the 50th person that has sent them a pitch today. They just don't have time. The last thing you want to do is give them more work to do. They're not typing in your social. Provide the link. Express why you want to work with them. Saying I love your brand is not enough. Everyone says that. Literally everyone says that. And it's also like, obviously, or you wouldn't be reaching out to work with us. Like, add on to that. What do you love about the brand? Like, what is the thing that makes you reach out? In addition to that, you want to make sure all this information is concise and fairly short. No one wants to read a novel, and like I said, they don't have time. Who are you? How do you fit in with the brand? And what value can you bring to the brand? Top 3 most important things. Here's an example of another pitch that you should be using. Hi, brand name. I'm so-and-so, a beauty content creator with your follower count, your platforms, specializing in engaging in relatable content that blends storytelling and stunning visuals. A long time of brand name. I'd love to showcase specific product, why you use the product, why you like the product, to my audience of demographics. With a focus on authentic storytelling and creative visuals, I'm confident that we can create content that not only resonates with my community, but also drives value for brands. Let me know if you'd like to discuss a collaboration further. I'd love to bring this vision to life. Looking forward to hearing from you. Best, your name. And honestly, you may be told no more than once. It really is just part of the industry, and no is not a no forever. I cannot tell you the amount of brands that I have worked with that had told me no in the past, even just for PR, that a year or two later are reaching out to me for paid collaborations. This is not an industry where you really want to get hung up on one specific brand because you're going to get your feelings hurt. It's really not that serious at the end of the day, and there are several different reasons a brand might not want to work with you. And truly very little times is it related to your content directly. There are a lot of creators out there, and while I fully believe that there is room for everyone at the table to eat, we also have to make sure that we're putting ourselves out there. You cannot just wait around and expect for a brand to notice you. That's like a needle in a haystack. The opportunities are not just going to fall in your lap. You have to go get them. Even if you are commenting, liking, consistently connecting with the brand, you might not be on their radar simply because you haven't reached out in that capacity. It's 2025. We gotta put ourselves forward. You may be the perfect fit and you may be exactly what a brand is looking for, but they're never gonna know that if they can't find you. That is everything. If you have any specific questions, please do not be afraid to leave them down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer them for you. I also hope that every single one of you feel more confident when it comes to pitching, and I hope that in 2025 you get all of the PR and all of your dream partnerships. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.